Hi everybody, it's Dulles, Kiwi Scrapper from New Zealand, and I'm here to share a very special project with you today. And the reason this project is so special is the online shop Tresor de Luxe is doing a design team call, and I would really love to get onto that design team because the laces that are sold in this shop are absolutely exquisite. They really are. They're elegant, they're exquisite, they're just mind-blowing, and they're totally different to laces that you'll see in other shops. And here are just 3 of them. And this is all I've got left from a meter. I put my first order in, and it arrived about a week ago. And I had a meter of this, and that's all I've got left. One little piece. Isn't it beautiful? I shall be using that somewhere treasured. This is a gorgeous flower. It's like velvet. It's got a velvety look and feel to it, and it's sort of like a pansy. And it's got little diamante bling over it. Just gorgeous. But this is the piece de resistance for me. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely exquisite? And as many of you know who watch my videos, I love doing historical Baroque Rococo pieces from, like the 17th century, or Renaissance pieces from the 15th, 16th century, and they need to have pieces like this in them. You can get gold pieces, from other, like off eBay or even in my local craft shops, but they're that very tacky modern gold, which you just can't use on these projects, these older projects, because they just look so totally out of place. They're that bright, brassy, glistening gold. This is absolutely perfect for these Rococo, Baroque, Renaissance pieces that I just love doing. So I love doing vintage, and I do shabby chic as well, as most of you know. But I just love doing those more historical pieces. So this was my project, and it's a vintage piece, as you immediately recognise. So this project is my project to answer the design team call for the online shop Tresor de Luxe, which just does the most exquisite laces. So, right, where to start? Well, okay, I'll start at the beginning. I've done this in an oval shape. And the reason I did it in an oval shape was I've done a number of wall hangings as rectangular shapes, which is the normal shape for a wall hanging, and I just recently did a circular shape in a sort of a cardboard wall hanging. But I had a picture on my wall that was bought for me as a gift years ago when I lived in England, and it was a beautiful oval shape, and I thought that's what I want to do it in. So I actually used that picture or the frame, as a template, and I cut it out in this rich ivory, just plain cotton fabric, and then I sandwiched it, sandwiched between with wadding, and that's all over. So that's how that started. And then the first thing I did was I started using these beautiful Tresor de Luxe trims that I just received, and that's this one here. Yeah, that's around about 5 inches long. I haven't measured it, but it could even be slightly longer. I'm thinking about 5 inches from point to top. So that's what I used here, which was absolutely ideal. That just comes off there. But that was put on, but before I actually put that on, I used this vintage placemat, or doily, you call it. Yeah, and with this beautiful luxury fringing all around it. And I bought this in a set of 3, 2 smaller and 1 larger, from a thrift shop for about $1 or $1.50 for the 3. And even the reverse side is really pretty. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, I love using these vintage projects on my projects, these vintage items on my projects. And it's got the most gorgeous, luxurious ivory fringing all around it, so that was just perfect. So rather than use it as a square, I offset it and used it as a triangle. So thinking outside the square, I like to do that. So there's your triangle point up here, here, down here, and across here. That makes your triangle. And then I popped in the Tresor de Luxe pieces. This piece here, cut off that. Well, that's a thing of three, a strip of three, and these were cut off separately. And then I popped in some flat back pearls for my stash. And then we'll just go down here. Yep, we'll go right down here now. Okay, so right down the bottom, I popped in half an oval doily. That's it there. That was just perfect for what I wanted. And I popped some flat back pearls. It's a vintage doily that I cut in half. And then I put some of the Tresor de Luxe, again this one here, in here. And I put the three across, which is the same as at the top. And the, oops, sorry, I made a frame I think. And the two at the side, the same as the top. And then I popped in two extra ones underneath these three. So we've got, that's the top layer, then we've got the next layer down, and then under that we've got this one which was the right shape, and that's right the way around. That's from my stash. That's sort of a thick sort of crochet piece, and then we've got the doily underneath. So that's like 4 layers at the bottom there. And then on top of these bits I've put 2 little crochet hearts, which came from a friend of mine here in New Zealand, I'm pretty sure, Lillian, that's Mystical Touch. She does lovely crochet, so she sent me those. And I popped in a pearl in each one, the centre of each one, and I popped in a string of like vintage looking string pearls. And on all these Tresor de Luxe pieces I've popped flat back pearls, because they really are elegant pieces, so you can use lovely elegant trims like pearls. I love using pearls. Yeah. For me, diamonds aren't a girl's best friend. Pearls are a girl's best friend. There you go. That's the now this is a, hold on, before I start, I'll start at the beginning because I have a tendency to race ahead. The image, beautiful, beautiful image. It's a Victorian image, but it's done in the classical ancient Rome style, and she's holding 2 doves. And I wanted to tone down the tunic she's wearing, this gossamer tunic she's wearing, because it was quite a stronger gold colour. So I toned that down with gesso and just sort of blended it in. I wanted to pick up the lovely peach tone across the back in her sash, and then it goes across her breasts. So that's the tone I wanted to pick up for this vintage project. And down here we've got a metal flower, and that's sitting on a lovely peach embroidered piece of trim on my stash, and that just sort of runs all around here and around that side, not completely round. I started it from here and down here, and I started it from here and went up here, and around the image itself I placed these single flat back pearls using tweezers, and that took me ages because there's a lot of them. It's quite a good size image, so that took a long time. Then around that I've got some cream gathered lace, crochet lace, and that goes completely around the picture. This is off a bridal headdress, a vintage bridal headdress, and there's 3 of those sprays on each side, 1, 2, 3, and over here 1, 2, 3. And what I did was I mirrored this side to this side, but I added some different things on each side just to give it additional interest rather than just mirroring it exactly. And here we've got a metal flower here from my stash, which I gessoed and painted over with antique white. Got some small mocha roses, and you'll see that's echoed again up here. That's the metal flower, the little mocha rose, and I gessoed all of these things to tone down their colours. This is the Tresor de Luxe part of this trim, which I mentioned earlier, that I just cut it off here, and that was put across here, and a very large flat back pearl. That's an 18mm flat back pearl from my stash. That went on there. We've got rolled roses sitting on resin hearts here and here. These lovely flowers, these are these beautiful Tresor de Luxe pansy kind of flower done on this beautiful velvet with this bling on it. So we've got, that was the main focus of the circle. We've got one here and we've got one up here. So again, going across. And then we've got some paper flowers. There's two on this side and 3 on that side. These pearls, elongated pearl and a round pearl, and then we've got peach pearls here. They came with this beautiful peach coloured crochet lace and crochet flower, and that was again from my friend Lillian and here in New Zealand. And I toned down the brighter peach centre and the silver bit with gesso, and I also toned down the peach lace because it was just a bit too bright, little bright looking for what I wanted. I wanted it a bit duller, so that got toned down with gesso. And just here we've got a little piece of a peach flower I took out of a bigger lace piece, and we've got the same bit up here. I popped in a flat back pearl and I gessoed over them to give a more muted peach look. Got some lovely real vintage buttons here, pearl buttons, 2 on that side, and I've put 3 on this side, on the corresponding side. And then I had Christmas angels, no, cherubs, and they were, let me see if I can find one. I did have, oh yeah, here you go. Just, you know, to hang on your tree. And they're lovely old sort of, they're resin, but they're kind of like done in sepia and creams. But that's not the colour I wanted for this, so I painted over it with antique white, which is a cream colour. So that went on there. And then on this one here I put a different cherub. Exactly the same, done in the resin, in the sepia and cream, and I painted over in the cream. Just, I roughly painted them over because I wanted them to have the sepia tones just sort of sneaking through the paint. And as you can see, that's quite dimensional. So that goes there. And yes, I think I discussed this with you. That's a part of my stash. The fringing, you know, obviously all around there, and that's again the bottom piece. So this would be a good size piece, about I would say, I haven't measured it, but I'd say easily 22 inches. And you've got your doily at the bottom, and then it just works its way up. Lots of pearls, and those lovely ivory and peach colours, and these beautiful, really beautiful Tresor de Luxe pieces, trims. They're just very, very elegant and just lend themselves so beautifully to this kind of project. Absolutely perfect for this kind of project. And I loved doing this project. I loved working with these laces because they're just exquisite. Really are. I don't think I've worked with such, well, I haven't worked with such beautiful laces. Absolutely exquisite. So there you go. I think that's, it's hard, as I say, to get it all in camera. And I'll be popping on a organza, cream or ivory organza sash to hang them by. Hang it on, and it's going into my lounge because my lounge has got, well, when it's painted, when it's repainted, it'll have ivory coloured walls, and with peach tones in there. So I was really pleased with the way this came out, and I hope everybody else is pleased, and I particularly hope that Lucy from Tresor de Luxe and the rest of the design team members for Tresor de Luxe, I particularly hope that she loves it, because I would just absolutely scream with delight if I managed to get onto that team. I know I've only been doing this craft for a few months, but I just love this craft so much, and I just love crafting so much. And you know, when you get the opportunity to work with such beautiful trims, you know, it just adds to your delight in crafting. It really does. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and I hope everybody loves this. I hope you make a nice comment, or you know, any kind of comment, but keep it pleasant. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.